this afternoon session.
Hallo und herzlich willkommen zurück hier am Rotsee in Luzern. Noch 2,5 Minuten und dann geht es los mit dem ersten Hoffnungslauf im Männer-Zweierrone, unter anderem mit der Schweiz am Start.
Repechage number 1 for the men's pair. Lining up here, we have in lane 1, Brazil 2. Lane 2, Switzerland. Lane 3, Japan 1. Lane 4, Germany. And lane 5, Norway.
Erster Hoffnungslauf im Männer-Zweierrone. Auf Bahn 1 Brasilien 2, auf Bahn 2 die Schweiz, auf Bahn 3 Japan 1, auf Bahn 4 Deutschland und auf Bahn 5 Norwegen.
Time now for the athletes introduction up there at the start where they can hear us and hear you here down at the finish areas. The first repechage of the men's pair lining up in lane 1 for Brazil 2, David Faria Souza and Vangelis Rinca Pereira. Lane 2 for Switzerland, Maureen Lange and Jan Johanna Plock. Lane 3 for Japan 1, Otsuka Yoshihiro and Arakawa Ryuta. Lane 4 for Germany, Mark Hinrichs and Tom Tevez. And lane 5 for Norway, Mathias Foyner-V and Erling Oyasetter. Here we have it, the start of this first repechage for the men's pair. Only 2 to go through to the AB semi-final. Third place finisher to the C final. Fourth place to either the C or the D final, depending on their time. And then the rest through to the D final. If you're not familiar with it, A final contests places 1 through 6. That's where the medals are to be won. A B final places 7 through 12. C final places 13 to 18. And a D final places 19 to 24 in the World Rowing Cup rankings from this, the third event in this summer for 2022. But as this race gets underway, it's a good start for Switzerland here. What do you think of that start, Michael?
What an impressive start. Switzerland went out with stroke rate 52 out of the block, so very impressive start from Switzerland. Ja, die Schweizer sind unglaublich schnell gestartet. Mit Schlagzahl 52 sind sie hier aus den Blöcken rauskatapultiert. Mittlerweile führen sie mit etwa 2-3 Meter Vorsprung vor dem japanischen Boot, also ein Start nach Maß für das Schweizer Boot. Die ersten beiden Boote werden sich für das Halbfinale qualifizieren. Momentan haben sich die Schweizer schon mal bei 400 Meter in eine gute Position gebracht.
Well, I think the Swiss not pleased to be here in this repechage. They made it into the A final in Poznan at the World Cup last month. So they'll be looking to make sure they get into that AB semi-final no matter what here on home territory in Lucerne. But they're coming under pressure as Japan now draws level with them. Switzerland still up there at 40 strokes a minute, Japan at 36 and with the better boat speed. So they're starting to move up into the lead now. These two leading boats a length up on current third place Germany. Not by much though, only half a canvas back to Norway currently in fourth. So all to play for out there on the water. Switzerland currently riding in second as Japan really finds their pace into this second 500 metres. They're going 600 metres in now, so let's catch up with our commentators out there on the course. We've got Timon Vernas and Camilla Hadland Horrocks. Good afternoon, Camilla.
Good afternoon, Pete, and what a gorgeous afternoon it is out here on the Rotsee. And I love small boats racing. It's always so close and tightly fought, and the home crowd will be very pleased to see that Switzerland's still in a qualifying spot at the moment to get through to that all-important AB semi-final. But an impressive settle down on pace from the Japanese pairing. Arakara Ryuta in the stroke seat out of the single scull and now into this men's pair, and certainly it's been a good move for him to be paired up with Otsuka Yoshihiro in the bow seat, riding high, I think, on Olympic fever after hosting a home games last year in Tokyo. But they sit in the leading and commanding position, with Switzerland still up at 39 strokes a minute. They've not quite managed to settle yet. The first kind of 500 metres they were up at 41, but they're looking good, and they've got clear water over the rest of the field. Norway just trying to push ahead of Germany.
Ja, die beiden Schweizer, Maurin Lange vom Segelclub Luzern und Jona Plock vom Ruderclub Rapperswil. Jona 10. in Belgrad, 5. in Poznan. Sie befinden sich auf dem 2. Zwischenplatz bei 1000 Meter. So wie es momentan also aussieht, werden sie sich fürs Halbfinale qualifizieren. Das Rennen wird angeführt von den Japanern. Sie führen also relativ deutlich mit circa 2-3 Längen Vorsprung vor den Schweizern. Dahinter könnte es für die Deutschen nochmals in Frage kommen, falls sie auf der zweiten Streckenhälfte nochmal aufdrehen können. Aber nach wie vor die erfreuliche Nachricht aus Schweizer Sicht: Maurin Lange und Jona Plock auf dem qualifizierenden Position auf dem 2. Rang in diesem Halbfinale.
So Japan looking good for that top spot through, but Switzerland, their boat speed just dropping off ever so slightly. I hope that for the home crowd's sake, they can cling on to this second spot through to the AB semi-final. I'm sure Morin Longer has got a lot of home support from the row club Lucerne from just down the road, and they'll be moving towards you with 500 metres to go, Tim.
Yeah, and the Japanese pair coming into view, and they're rowing a stellar race so far. They've led from the start and continue to dominate this race. They have the highest, a good, solid boat speed, and underrating the crew from Switzerland to their right. The Japanese, they're looking very comfortable and long, and nice ropey rhythm there coming from strokeman Arakawa. He's setting the pace at 35 strokes a minute, with the local favourites in hot pursuit rating 39 strokes a minute, and they have to, because to their left they can see the challenge coming from the crew from Norway, the young crew there making a move, passing the crew from Germany just in front of my commentary position. So I hope for the local crowds that the Swiss can hang on to the lead they have, because there is a charge coming from the crew from Norway. But so far so good, and the Norwegian crew has a lot of ground to make up, so I think it's in the bag. But the Japanese crew still out in front, Peter, looking very smooth and very relaxed as they come towards the Red Buoy area.
Yeah, they've got great pace, considering they're underrating everybody by 4 or 5 pips. It really is impressive stuff from Japan's Otsuka Yoshihiro and Arakawa Ryuta, who are still holding 33 strokes a minute and a comfortable margin, a length and a half perhaps up on the Swiss coming into the Red Buoys.
Ja, die Schweizer momentan auf dem 2. Zwischenrang sind bereits bei Schlagzahl 41, 200 Meter vor dem Ziel. Also sie legen hier alles auf den Rotsee. Sie wollen hier sogar noch die Japaner bedrängen. Sie machen mit jedem Schlag ein paar Meter gut und fahren an das führende Boot heran. Also erfreuliche Nachrichten für die Schweizerinnen und Schweizer hier am Rotsee. Die Schweiz wird sich also voraussichtlich für das Halbfinale im Zweier-Ohne qualifizieren.
Well, the sprint's on. Switzerland go up to 40, and that sees them get overlap with Japan into the last 50 metres. I think these two looking pretty safe for the 2 spaces into the AB semi. Germany moving up through Norway, though. It's been a great turn of pace from them in that last 150 or so metres. But the lead is held on to by Japan 1, crossing the line, 3/4 of a length up on Switzerland for second place. So they go through to the AB semi. Third place, Germany will progress to the C final, and then we'll have to wait to find out the times from the remaining repercharges to determine whether Norway and here in lane 1, Brazil, finishing 4th and 5th, whether they'll go through to the C or the D final. On to the second of the 4 repercharges for the men's pair now. Here in lane 1 for Spain, we've got Jaime Canalejo Pazos and Javier Garcia Ordonez. In lane 2 for Uruguay, we've got Leandro Joaquin Rodas Carrera and Martin Zoncalo. Lane 3 for South Africa, Henry Tor and James Mitchell. And for Lithuania 2 in lane 4, we've got Povilas Stankunas and Mantas Juskevicius. They go through 800 metres at the moment. Spain out in front, but not by much here, Camilla.
Yeah, it's so close still at this middle stage of the race. The Spanish pairing probably surprised to find themselves having to contest the repechage, having Javier Garcia Ordonez in the stroke seat, who's littered with medals from these World Cup seasons, and his partner Canalejo Pazos in the bow seat, joining him here at this 3rd World Cup of the season. But they are being hunted down by the South African pair. James Mitchell in the stroke seat for South Africa, a former under-23 world champion in this boat class way back in 2018, and they've managed to haul themselves up to get the smallest margin of overlap on the stern of the Spanish pairing. Now 2 spots through to the AB semi-finals, so they've done enough already at this point if the result was to stay as is, but they know they're going to have to fight hard because Lithuania are keeping the pace very lively to stay in contact.
Ja, es sind die Spanier, die diesen zweiten Hoffnungslauf im Männer-2-Runde anführen. Mit im Boot Jaime Canalejo Pazos. Er ist Coastal-Weltmeister aus dem Jahr 2021, hat auch eine Silbermedaille im Mixed-Doppelzweier ebenfalls auf dem etwas welligeren Wasser gewonnen. Mit bei ihm im Boot ist Javier Garcia Ordonez. Er bereits mehrfacher Medaillengewinner an Weltcups, wartet aber noch auf seinen ersten Weltcupsieg. Ob es hier für die Spanier nach diesem Hoffnungslauf reichen wird, um ganz vorne am Sonntag mitzufahren, das bleibt es noch abzuwarten. Aber im Moment sind sie voll auf Kurs, um diesen Halbfinale hier zu gewinnen.
Well, as my co-commentator has just pointed out, Canalejo Pazos in the bow seat for Spain, a multiple world champion in the coastal scene for world rowing, but flat water here, and I'm not sure if those coastal skills will be particularly needed in these beautiful conditions in Lucerne, Tim.
No, definitely not, Camilla. The water is absolutely perfect from where I'm sitting. It's nice and flat. Still a slight tail breeze in the final stages, or I think all the way down the course. But the Spanish pair of Canalejo Pazos and Garcia Ordonez still in front, but half a length ahead of the fast pair from South Africa, who are really charging through, and they try to shake off the challenge coming from Lithuania, that young pair that is racing in lane number 4. They're really trying to put some distance between them and the qualifying places for the C and D finals, with only 1 and 2 going through to the AB semi-final. But out in front, it is still Spain in the lead, but their lead has been gradually decreasing as South Africa is making a charge for that first spot speed.
Yeah, they've got great pace in the South African boat. They're at 39 strokes a minute. Mitchell and Tor coming towards the last 250 metres here. Could see them move up to contest the front of the field. Spain going to 42. The Lithuanians also having a bit of a turn of pace on the far side, going up over 40 now. But I think they might just have a little bit too much work to do to try and contest a place into the AB semi-final here. There's at least 2 lengths there.
Ja, es gibt einen Kampf vorne um den Sieg. Momentan sind die Spanier, die Olympiafinalisten, noch vorne, aber die Südafrikaner versuchen hier nochmals ranzukommen. Ich glaube zwar nicht, dass es reichen wird bis zum Schluss, aber einen sehr interessanten Schlussspurt, den wir hier zu sehen bekommen.
Well, the pace is great in the Lithuanian boat. They're significantly faster than any other boat out there on the water. They're up at 42. They've got overlap now with the South Africans, but I think they're just going to run out of water. There's 30 or 40 metres left. Spain are going to cling onto it by the skin of their teeth. It's across the line, just under half a length. South Africa takes second, half a length ahead of Lithuania. So that means that we'll see Spain and South Africa progress through to the AB semi, Lithuania to the C final, and coming in here for 4th place, we have Uruguay, and at the end of the reps, we'll know whether they're going to the C or the D final. Next up, then, it's the third of the 4 heats, third of the 4 repercharges for the men's pair. We've got Great Britain 2, No, we've got South Africa 2 in lane 1. That's Jake Green and Luc Defaan. Lane 2 is Great Britain 2, Harry Glenister and Josh Bogaski. Lane 3 for the Netherlands, Elo Brouwer and Peter van Veen. And then lane 4 for Brazil, Aleph da Rosa Fontoura and Bernardo Boglian. They're coming up through 800 metres in. Great Britain out in front by about half to 3/4 of a length of the currently level Netherlands and South Africa. It's going to be tough to split those two. They're neck and neck here, Camilla.
Yeah, not the position you want to find yourself in when there's only 2 going through to the AB semi-finals. The nerves will be high in the South Africa and Netherlands crews, but Great Britain currently out in front, not by too much of a cushion. They might just be able to start to see the bows of the 2 crews that surround them. South Africa to their right, the Netherlands to their left. Josh Bogaski in the stroke seat, being paired up with new pairs partner Harry Glenister here. They made the A final back at Belgrade, but currently just still being reeled in by the South African combination Luc Defaan and Jake Green, the Tokyo Olympic pair for South Africa, and they currently shuffle in front of the Dutch combination over in lane number 4.
Ja, wenn Großbritannien diesen Hoffnungslauf hier anführt, sind einige Hub-Holland-Hub-Rufe notwendig, um das holländische Boot hier noch auf einen entscheidenden zweiten Platz hervorzupushen. Also da sind die Zuschauerinnen und Zuschauer aus Holland gefragt, die sicher wiederum zahlreich am Rotsee erschienen sind dieses Wochenende. Auf dem zweiten Platz im Moment bei kurz nach Streckenhälfte das südafrikanische Boot, das zweite südafrikanische Boot.
Well, Tim, Great Britain out in front, but still overlap back to second and third. What do the Dutch pairing of Brouwer and Van Veen need to do to get themselves up into second?
Yeah, well, they have to get their bow in front, and from this position it's very difficult with 750 meters still to go. There is still a chance of getting in one of the 2 places straight to the AB semi-final, but it's a big ask from the young crew from Eli Brouwer and Peter van Veen from the Netherlands. The South African crew there is in second position, and I think there's almost 10 meters between them and that pair from the Netherlands, so it's a big ask from the Netherlands to get back into contention. The pair from Great Britain, the GB2, in the lead now. Very powerful strokes, massive strokes there coming from Glenister and Bogaski. They lead by a length ahead of South Africa, and I think the Dutch crew are making a move. They're up at 39 strokes a minute, which is high, but not compared to the other crews in front of this race, because the crew from Great Britain already at 39 as well, and 40 coming off the blades of South Africa, with the crew from Brazil in 4th position. But still, there is a slight chance, because the front of the field is getting closer together, with the Dutch sprinting and try to get into that AB semi-final, Peter.
Yeah, it's going to be coming down to this last 350 or so metres, this sprint to the line. The Dutch have gone early, and I think that's because they know they've got a margin to close in on. It's working. They've got the better boat speed than the South Africans, so they're starting to draw up on them coming towards the red buoys. Great Britain still a length out in front. They're up at 39. The South Africans trying to respond. They've gone to 43 and now matching the Dutch boat speed.
Ja, es gibt 2 Plätze für das Halbfinale und wir sehen vom Turm aus, dass es ganz gut aussieht für das britische Boot. Sie führen noch immer diesen Hoffnungslauf an, aber dahinter ist es ganz eng zwischen Südafrika und dem niederländischen Boot. Momentan für leichte Vorteile für das niederländische Boot. Sie haben die Südafrikaner überholt und stürmen Richtung Ziellinie.
Well, the wheels are coming off in the South African boat. They go to 45, but I think that's seen their boat speed reduce as they've tried to give it absolutely everything. That's opened the doors for the Dutch to draw level. Great Britain are going to take the win, but it's neck and neck for second. I think it's the Dutch by a whisker. An absolute whisker. We'll have to wait because it was on the surge of the stroke. The Dutch were rolling to front stops while the South Africans were in the dry phase of the stroke. So it really did come close. We'll wait for the official results. 4th place, though, are Brazil. So 2 places to go through to the AB semi. It was the Dutch by the tiniest margin. So Great Britain won that 3rd repechage, then the Netherlands, just by 0.02 of a second. So that means that South Africa will go through to the C final, and then Brazil will wait their fate until after this last repechage for the men's pair. Last repechage now then for the men's pair. Lane 1 for Netherlands 1. We've got Laurentius Lipman and Menno Bezema. Lars Lipman. Lane 2 for Japan 2. We've got Fukuta Sho and Shiga Takumi. Lane 3 for Italy, we've got Giovanni Abagnale and Alfonso Scalzone. And then completing the field for Australia 1 in lane 4, Harley Moore and Alexander Hill. They're already through 800. The Aussies out in front, half a length or so up ahead of Italy. So, Camilla, can anybody get back in this action, or is this Australia and Italy running away with it?
I mean, with the calibre on paper, this is Australia's race to lose. They went up against that very strong British combination in the heat, which we always knew was going to be a real barnstormer of a race. And they, with just one progressing directly through to the AB semis, they've now found themselves in the rep. But as we've already said so much this morning, Alex Hill, the stroke of this Australian crew, an Olympic gold medalist from that awesome 4 back in Tokyo with new partner here, Harley Moore. They're only 3/4 of a length ahead of Italy. They just seem to be keep getting wound back in by the Italians, Scalzone and Abagnale, who are up rating at 39 strokes a minute. So characteristic of the Italian style. The Australians down at 37, but these two just running away from the field.
Kurz nach Streckenhälfte sieht es nach einem Führungsduo aus. Die Australier und die Italiener, sie werden den Sieg in diesem Hoffnungslauf unter sich ausmachen und sie werden, so wie es momentan ausschaut, sich beide für das Halbfinale qualifizieren können. Wie Camilla es schon erwähnt hat, Alexander Hill, der Olympiasieger im Männer-Viererrunde an den Olympischen Spielen in Tokio letztes Jahr. Also hier hochkarätige Athleten mit dabei in diesem 4. Hoffnungslauf.
So it looks like these two pairs out in front, Tim, are simply uncatchable.
Yeah, they've done all the work they need to get ahead of the crew from Japan and the crew from the Netherlands in 3rd position. But I'm very interested to see what the final 500 meters is going to be like with the Italian crew there right beside the crew from Australia. The Aussie crew still in the lead by about 3/4 of a length, but they are really going for it. But the Australian crew having the superior boat speed at this stage of the race. They are almost a length clear and trying to break clear water. I can see a little look there from Giovanni Abagnale from Italy to see where their competitors are, and no doubt I think that the crew from Italy will race this to a sprint finish already at 37 strokes a minute, so overrating the crew from Australia at this stage of the race. But they're safe and sound through to the AB semi-final, and the Dutch combination of Laurens Lipman and Menno Bezema there making sure they get into that C final, but it will be a disappointment for them. But that's rowing for you. Out in front, still in the lead, Italy and Australia as they come towards your position, Peter, at the finish.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. It's always tough competition, isn't it? I mean, these two leading boats are up there at 36, and they've got a big margin of clear water back to the Dutch, who are trying to hold on to that 3rd place. They've lifted the rating. They've gone up to 39, trying their best to get back into the action, close down some of that clear water margin to the Italians. But they're now well into the red buoys. I think they're just going to run out of water. We see the Italians starting to lift the rating a little bit here, 36, 37. But the Aussies just so comfortable and cool. They've dropped it down to 32 coming into the last 200.
Ja, die Australier müssen nicht mehr ganz an ihre Grenzen gehen. Sie versuchen hier möglichst viel Kraft noch zu sparen für den Halbfinal von morgen. Dahinter dann die Italiener, die noch etwas höher mit der Schlagzahl sind, aber ebenfalls nicht mehr so an ihre Grenzen gehen müssen. Diese beiden Boote werden das Feld morgen im Halbfinale noch komplettieren. Also im letzten Hoffnungslauf im Männer-Zweierrunde ist es Australien und Italien, welche sich als Erste über die Ziellinie schieben.
A little bit of the local wildlife escaping narrowly with its life there, that little moorhen. But the Aussies half a length up on Italy across the line. That seals their positions into the AB semi. We'll see the Dutch progress through to the C final, and then for Japan too, they'll await the final results from this race, and they'll then know whether they're going through to the C or the D final. Moving now on to the one and only repechage for the women's double sculls. Lining up here, we've got Japan 2 in lane 1, Sakakibara Haruna and Nishihara Kana. Lane 2 for Germany 2, Lisa Gutfleisch and Judith Guser. Lane 3 for Germany 1, Frauke Hundling and Pia Greiten. Lane 4 for Italy 2, Stefania Buttignon and Linda de Filippis. Lane 5 for Canada, where we've got Elisa Bollinger and Grace van der Broek. And then lane 6 for Switzerland, we've got Nina Wettstein and Fabienne Schweitzer. They're coming up towards 800 metres in. Germany 1 are doing great here. Hundling and Greiten out in front, but then a length and a bit back. We've got an almost absolutely level field, all within a canvas of each other, really, coming up towards halfway. So first 3 through to the AB semi-final. Let's hear from Camilla and Timon to find out how they split the field.
Thanks, Pete. Yeah, a little bit more of a favourable progression system here in this women's doubles repechage, with 3 being allowed through to the AB semi-finals. But which one of those 3 are going to go through, I still could not tell you. For sure, Germany have had a really good start, and they've been out underrating the rest of the field at 35 strokes a minute. Pia Greiten and Frauke Hundling are now just wanting to eke out a few more centimetres, and in fact this clear water lead that they've now managed to obtain through the 1,000 will do them wonders. Italy then sit in second in lane number 4. They were the first crew to be able to pick their lanes in the lane draw, but from the outside, a great little look there from Fabienne Schweitzer in the stroke seat for Switzerland to see that they are coming up and level with Italy in second place position.
Ja, für die Schweizer Fans geht es jetzt zur Sache. Fabienne Schweitzer und Nina Wettstein, sie rudern hier ganz außen auf der 6. Bahn und sie sind momentan auf der 3. Zwischenposition. Also es sieht ganz gut aus für eine Qualifikation für das Halbfinale. Heute Morgen im Vorlauf haben die Beine noch etwas gefehlt auf der 2. Streckenhälfte. Auch hier Covid-Erkrankung im Vorfeld zur Regatta. Aber das scheint jetzt heute Nachmittag deutlich besser zu funktionieren. Und die beiden kämpfen hier mit den Italienerinnen mit, die sich derzeit auf dem 2. Platz befinden. Vorne weg relativ ungefährdet ist es das deutsche Boot mit Frauke Hunderling und Pia Greiten. Zurück zu Camilla und dann ab in den Zielraum, um hier den spannenden Einlauf zu sehen.
So Germany 2 still leading the way behind. Well, that fight still taking place between Italy and Switzerland, but Italy currently in second place. Switzerland with that 3rd and final spot as it stands through to the AB semi-final. And I think the only challengers really within contention are Germany 2 over in lane number 2, Tim.
Yeah, you're right, Camilla. It is the crew from Germany 2 that is currently trying to make a move and get into the positions that lead to the AB semi-final. But we can see the crew racing from lane number 2. That's Germany 1 with Pia Greite in the stroke seat. They are leading by over a length over Italy, and then it's very close between the local favourite Switzerland and that other crew from Germany for the last place straight into the AB semi-final, with Canada have been in 4th position, and on the far side we can see the crew from Japan in 6th. But the racing is so fast and furious, they're already out of view from my position, so I'll hand you to Pete in the finish tower to call it all the way down the line.
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, 3 to go through, and it is going to be tight. We've got Gutfleisch and Guser doing their best to try and make sure they fend off this Swiss pressure towards the line here. Switzerland have gradually dropped down the field from 2nd to 3rd, and they're at risk of now finishing up in 4th place as Germany 2 are now in 3rd. So it's going to come down to this finishing sprint to see what the local favourite Switzerland can pull out of the bag in their finishing sprint.
Ja, die Schweizerinnen müssen wirklich etwas hervorzaubern. Sie waren lange auf der 3. Position und jetzt am Schluss sind sie etwas zurückgefallen hinter das 2. deutsche Boot. Also momentan nicht auf einer qualifikationsberechtigten Rang. Fabienne Schweitzer und Nina Wettstein, also momentan auf dem 4. Platz zurück. Ganz vorne ist es Deutschland 1, vor Italien, vor Deutschland 2, welche hier die ersten 3 Plätze einnehmen.
Hundling and Greiten looking good for the win here ahead of Buttignon and Filippis. That's looking safe for the 1-2 and getting into the action. Gutfleisch and Guser are looking set to retain a 3rd place finish here, which will see a place into the AB semi. As they cross the line is Germany 1, a length up on Italy, and then half a length to Germany 2. So they go through to the AB semi. Fourth place finish then. We have Canada 2, a length up on Switzerland. That's the fourth, fifth, and then coming in for sixth place, Japan. So we'll see them race in the C final. Moving promptly on, the race is coming through thick and fast. It's the first of the two repercharges for the men's double sculls. Foreign Bogdan Horodicianu and Andre Sebastian Corner for Romania they're in lane 2. It's the Mexicans in lane 1, where we've got Andre Emil Smith Flores and Juan Jose Flores Rodriguez in lane 1. Lane 3 are for Poland, Simon Poznik and Piotr Plominski. Belgium in lane 4, Tristan van den Busche and Aaron Andries. China in lane 5, Liu Dong and Liu Baishun. And then completing the field for Hungary in lane 6, Jabo Martin and Ax Christoph. Now they're passing Camilla right now. So Camilla, who's out in front?
Well, it's the Belgians currently out in front. This combination of Aaron Andries and Tristan van den Busche, but not by much. They are really going to have to row out of their skins, I think, in this second half of the race, because China are bearing down on them pretty ominously, if I'm honest. Liu Dang and Liu Baishan are sat in second place, but pushing extremely hard past the boat tents to be able to get themselves back onto terms. Just 2 to go through to the AB semi-final, but I think this race out in front could really separate Belgium and China from the rest of the mix.
Ja, kurz nach Streckenhälfte sieht es ganz danach aus, als ob die belgische Mannschaft und der chinesische Doppelzweier der Männer sich hier für das Halbfinale qualifizieren werden. Sie führen hier relativ deutlich vor dem Rest des Feldes, wobei es zwischen diesen beiden Mannschaften nochmal sehr eng werden könnte auf der zweiten Streckenhälfte. Die Liu, Geschwister Dang Liu und Baishun Liu werden hier nochmal versuchen ranzukommen an das belgische Duo. Das wird sehr spannend.
So, as Belgium and China battle it out at the front of the field, there are still places to be determined in the C and D finals, Tim.
Yeah, and behind the leading two crews from Belgium and China, it's a great battle between Romania and the Polish crew, the young combination of Plominski and Poznik. They are fighting for their lives and fighting for a third spot, because the Belgium and Chinese doubles are sitting pretty on over a length lead to Romania. Then it's Poland. Then it's, I think, the Hungarian crew in lane number 6, and all the way on the far side of the lake we have the double from Mexico, also already at the at finishing rhythm. So well over 38 strokes actually. But I'm impressed by the Belgian double. They managed to fend off the Chinese charge in the third 500, and they are moving towards the finish line, towards you, Pete. Can they maintain this all the way down the line?
Tricky question. Looking still so good as in front, though. They've got less than a length lead, the Romanian combination, Horodicianu and Cornea, under a lot of pressure. The Chinese boats up at 38. They're really pushing some tin here. Liu and Liu are not quite on pace with Romania, but these two boats out in front, and it's the it's the Belgians out in front. Romania trying to close in on them at the moment. Belgians, Van den Busche and Andries currently leading, striking 36. It's a great pace from them out in front of China.
Ja, der belgische Zweier sieht wirklich sehr gut aus. Die beiden jungen Belgier machen hier einen fantastischen Job an der Spitze des Feldes. Sie rudern hier einem Sieg im Hoffnungslauf entgegen. Da hinten gibt es einen Kampf um den zweiten Platz momentan. Das chinesische Boot vorne, etwas dahinter dann das rumänische Boot und weiter zurück dann das Boot aus Ungarn.
Belgium take the win. A length and a half nearly up on China, who takes second and go through to the AB semi-final with them. Romania take third, half a canvas up on the far side, where we have Hungary for fourth. Fifth place then is Poland, ahead of sixth place Mexico. They'll all go through to either the C or D final, depending on their times. Next up then, it's the second of the two repercharges for the men's doubles. We've got New Zealand, Argentina in lane 1, Alejandro Matias Colomino and Axel Haak. Czech Republic in 2, Jakob Podrazel and Jan Sinsibuk. Norway in lane 3, Jan Oskar Stabe Helvig and Christopher Brunn. New Zealand in lane 4, Jordan Parry and Jack O'Leary. Finland in 5, Juho-Pekka Pataniemi and Jukka-Pekka Kauppi. And then Ukraine in lane 6, Yuri Ivanov and Ivan Futrik. 800 metres in, Norway's Helvig and Brunn out in front. A canvas up on the Kiwis, Parry and O'Leary, who are making things happen now as they come towards halfway. They've lifted the rating back up to 39, and they're starting to move through Norway. So things could change at the front of the field here. Currently a length behind this contest for the front, we've got the Czech Republic taking things over at 36, so we'll see whether they can get back in that action.
Yeah, and as we've said so often today, Pete, this is where the Kiwis tend to sprinkle a little bit of magic coming into this third 500. Deadly and silent, creeping their way through the field. Not so much here, though. This is fast and furious from Parry and O'Leary. Just really, they're slicing the blades into the water with such passion. It's absolutely cutting down the Rotsee, and they are gaining on the Norwegians, on Helvig and Brunn. These two have got about a length over the Czech Republic, and with only 2 spots to go through to the AB semi-final, I'm not sure that a length will be enough, but we'll see how we go down the track.
Ja, es ist ganz, ganz knapp in diesem zweiten Hoffnungslauf der Männer-Doppelzweier zwischen den Norwegern und den Neuseeländern an der Spitze des Rennens. Also diese beiden sind wirklich Bugball an Bugball. Unser Monitor zeigt hier jetzt schon vermehrt an, dass sie die Führung ausgetauscht haben. Also es geht hier wirklich jeden Schlag hin und her. Dahinter mit circa 1,5 Längen Rückstand ist es das tschechische Boot, welches versucht nochmals zur Spitze aufzuschließen. Ob dies gelingen wird, dazu mehr von meinen Kommentatoren.
Well, lots of very kind of deliberate blade placement, very aggressive around the front end from New Zealand. They're up at 39 strokes a minute, but have Norway managed to respond, Tim?
Well, the Norwegians are fending off the charge from New Zealand so far, but it's a dead level actually as they come towards the 500 meters to go. It's still Norway out in front, stroked by Christopher Brunn. He's really setting a very nice rhythm for Helvig to follow. But well, it is so impressive to see the crews from New Zealand. They're trying to make through. It's I think a foot between Norway and New Zealand, with the crew from the Czech Republic still in contact with the leading 2 crews, but they may be disappointed because I think Norway and New Zealand will go all the way down to the line. So it's 3 crews for 2 places in the AB semi-finals. Pete, what do you make of this?
Oh, I love it, Tim. It's all tightening up into the last 400 metres or so here. The Czech Republic getting right into this action now. A canvas to half a length separating them from this battle at the front. They've gone to 39, so we can see Jan Sinsibuk really starting to wind things in. He knows that they want to be in that AB semi-final contest, and if they fail to find the boat speed now in this last 250, they'll be out of a chance for that now. Norway and New Zealand level coming into the last 250.
Gerade rechtzeitig für die letzten 200 Meter haben die Tschechen nochmals aufgeschlossen an das Führungsduo aus Neuseeland und Norwegen. Also es gibt einen ganz interessanten Schlussspurt hier dieser 3 Boote. Wer wird es schaffen, ins Halbfinale vorzustoßen? Ist es der Norweger Christopher Brunn, der am Schlag ist bei den... in diesem Doppelzweier eine der großen Figuren im Leichtgewichtsruder, nun im schweren Doppelzweier unterwegs. Er führt momentan dieses Feld an. Tschechien auf dem 2. Platz, also ganz, ganz knapp zwischen Tschechien und Neuseeland. Wer macht das Rennen, Pete?
Well, there's nothing to separate them. They're absolutely stroke for stroke. All 3 boats at 42, 43 strokes a minute. It's going to be on the surge of the stroke. 3 bow balls. I call it as the Czech Republic and then New Zealand and then Norway. But that was so tight across the line. We're going to have to wait for the official result to split them. 4th place, though, on the far side is Ukraine. 5th place, Finland. And coming in for 6th place, Argentina. Here's the dividing line then. The Czech Republic take the win in 6:10.79. It was Norway second, 0.2 of a second behind the Czech Republic, and 3rd place New Zealand, just 0.08 of a second off a place into the AB semi-final. So we'll see New Zealand, Ukraine and Finland progress through to the C final, and then Argentina will await their fate after all of the results are counted up and the start list for those finals completed. Next race then is the first of the two repercharges for the lightweight women's single sculls. Lane 1 for Argentina, we've got Sonia Baluzzo-Chiaruzzo. Lane 2 for the Netherlands, we've got Tosca Kettler. Lane 3 for the Czech Republic, Kristina Neuhortova. Susanna Duncan for France in lane 4 and Olivia Nacht for Switzerland in lane 5. They're already 750 metres in. The Argentinian out in front, but not by much at all. Again, we've got 3 boats tussling for the lead, but I suppose it's a good thing in this race, Camilla, because there's 3 to go through.
Yeah, they'll be very thankful for a favourable progression system. However, it's going to be tough for those couple of crews that are going to miss out here in this repechage for the lightweight women's single sculls. But they're being blown along very nicely by this tailwind that's been consistent throughout today. And as it stands at the moment, it is still Tosca Kettler of the Netherlands. She's utilising the wind to keep her up at a very lively 36 strokes a minute in a single scull. That's certainly very springy. And so she currently leads out. She's got the fastest boat speed on the water, but in fact actually everyone else has come up to match her around her, so that start will have been very useful to get her canvas out in front. Then she'll look back to the Argentinian Sonia Baluzzo-Chiaruzzo, who is just to her right by half a length, and Susanna Duncan of France also coming into the mix here. It's a two-part race. We've got France, the Netherlands and Argentina up at the front of the field, and then 1 length back, absolutely level between Switzerland and the Czech Republic.
Ja, eine Länge Rückstand. Camilla hat es schon angedeutet für Olivia Nacht, die Medizinstudentin aus Baden. Aber sie hat definitiv noch das Potenzial hier und auch noch etwas Zeit, um an die führenden 3 Boote heranzukommen. Das sind die Boote aus den Niederlanden, aus Frankreich und aus Argentinien. Dieses Dreierpack konnte sich ganz leicht absetzen an der Spitze des Feldes. Aber für Olivia wird es jetzt langsam eng und es wird Zeit, hier die Schrauben anzuziehen und den Bootspeed nach oben zu drehen, um hier noch ein Wörtchen mitzureden und sich für das Halbfinale zu qualifizieren.
Well, just based on the boat speeds here, Argentina in risk of being dropped here because her boat speed has just gone down. The chasing 2 scullers, Olivia Nacht of Switzerland and Neuhortova of the Czech Republic, are keeping theirs up, and so this gap could close, Tim.
Yeah, I think you're right, Camilla. I think the sculler from the Czech Republic is actually gaining a little bit in the third 500. She's coming towards the front of this race, and we've seen the Argentinian and French scullers with that sculler from the Netherlands in front of this race all along. But Neuhortova from the Czech Republic now trying to draw level with the leading crews, but still out in front. It's Tosca Kettler from the Netherlands, but not by much. It's almost level with Susanna Duncan from France, and that's going to be a barnstormer of a finish. 3 crews. It's a massive crab from the sculler from the Netherlands. Tosca Kettler, she is a massive crab just in front of my commentary position. She is out. The lifeguards are underway, and she's out of the boat. So massive upset there for the Dutch sculler, but she is safe and sound. The umpire is going towards her, so no worries there. But the race is out in front, but I haven't seen a bit of it. But the most important thing is the sculler from the Netherlands is safe and sound. Pete, back to you.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Always scary stuff when you see somebody flip and go in the water. But back to the race, we've still got a real one developing here with Susanna Duncan neck and neck with Neuhortova, and getting into this action, Baluzzo-Chiaruzzo for Argentina. And then the Swiss athlete, the local favourite, Olivia Nacht, only perhaps 3/4 of a length off this push for a place into the AB semi.
Ja, Olivia Nacht hat noch etwa eine halbe Bootslänge gut zu machen und dann schafft sie den Cut und qualifiziert sich für das Halbfinale. Also es gibt einen harten Endspurt zwischen ihr und der Argentinierin. Alle Schweizer Fans müssen jetzt natürlich nochmals sie voll unterstützen, damit dies reichen kann. Olivia Nacht, die Schweizer Meisterin aus Baden, versucht hier alles, um dran zu bleiben, um an der Argentinierin vorbeizukommen. Ganz vorne die Tschechische Republik vor Frankreich und danach Argentinien und die Schweiz auf gleicher Höhe.
It's neck and neck here. Switzerland and Argentina absolutely level in that danger seat and equally a positive place through to the AB semi-final as they're trailing behind Neuhortova and Duncan. Coming to the last 50 or so metres, it looks as though the Swiss athlete is making the better of this charge. She's put in a real sprint here and she's pushed up level into second place alongside Duncan. Last 30 or so metres, it's almost certain to be a win for Kristina Neuhortova for the Czech Republic. Second place is going to go to Olivia Nacht for Switzerland, half a length ahead of Susanna Duncan of France. So those three take the places into the AB semi, and despite a great push from Sonia Baluzzo-Chiaruzzo of Argentina, she will go through to the C final. And momentarily we'll find out how Tosca Kettler for the Netherlands is getting on. With another race bearing down on them, I'm sure she'll be trying to get back into that boat and down this way to cross the line and progress through to the C final. Next up, we've got the second repechage for the lightweight women's singles, already passing halfway. We've got lane 1 for Finland, Aura Forsberg. Lane 2 for Tunisia, Khadija Krimi. Fedra van der Molen for the Netherlands in 3. Georgia Nesbitt for Australia in 4. And Eline Roll for Switzerland in 5. How's it looking passing you halfway, Camilla?
Well, still very close between the top three scullers, but the top three is all you need to be in order to see the AB semi-finals. A bit of an Australia sandwich here. Georgia Nesbitt just sitting half a length down on the leading two scullers from Switzerland on one side and the Netherlands on the other. And I think it's, in fact, Van der Molen of the Netherlands that is a bow ball or so out in front of Switzerland's Eline Roll, all the way from Geneva. And so these three scullers at the moment, if they continue on at this pace look fairly secure to go through to the AB semi-final.
Ja, Olivia Nacht im letzten Rennen hat es auf die letzten 500 Meter ankommen lassen, um sich für den Halbfinale zu qualifizieren. Eline Roll hier jetzt im zweiten Hoffnungslauf. Sie scheint es bereits bei 1000 Meter klar machen zu wollen. Sie derzeit auf der dritten Position, ganz knapp im Zweikampf mit der Australierin. Vorne führt aus Holland Fedra van der Molen. Also dieses Dreipack hier, sie scheinen sich relativ gut abzusetzen vom Rest des Feldes und werden sich wohl für den Halbfinale qualifizieren. Aber wie wir eben gelernt haben, es ist erst entschieden, wenn es entschieden ist.
Well, it's Van der Molen of the Netherlands that's motoring towards you, Tim, in leading position, but the race for second looks absolutely electric.
Yeah, it's the race behind the sculler from the Netherlands, which is the most interesting. We have three crews progressing through the AB semi-final, and currently the wind picking up here on the Rothsee. It was tail conditions all day, but the wind seems to be increasing quite a lot, with the sculler from Australia, Nesbitt, here in second position. She's followed very closely by local favourite Eline Roll in third position, and I think that's Eline Roll, yeah, and Khadija Krimi from Tunisia in fourth. And in lane number 1 we have the Finnish athlete of Aura Forsberg, who is in fifth position. But out in front it looks good for the Netherlands, Australia and Switzerland. So Eline Roll there in a good position to take a spot into the AB semi-final, Pete.
Yeah, 3 to go through, so it's looking pretty fixed now as these three boats come into the last 350 or so metres of the race. Fedra van der Molen is having a cracking race here, still out in front of Georgia Nesbitt, who's been gradually moving up the field and closing that margin in. She's had a really good third 500 and now only half a length down on the lead, so this could be an opportunity for her to stamp her authority on the rest of the field and show them what she's made of in this final sprint. Not leaving behind, though, Eline Roll for Switzerland, who'll be cheering up a lot of the local fans who'll be pleased to see her in a place that progresses to the AB semi.
Es sieht also sehr gut aus, dass sich auch die zweite Schweizerin in dieser Konkurrenz für das Halbfinale qualifizieren wird. Eline Roll momentan auf dem dritten Platz, etwa 2-3 Längen vor der Tunesierin. Also Sieht wirklich gut aus. Für die Schweiz 2 Boote im Halbfinale im Leichtgewichtsfrauen. Einer vorne mit dabei wird auch sein Holland und Australien.
Not much of a sprint developing here. I think these athletes comfortable with their positions. They're all at 35 strokes a minute, just easing their way into the last 150, confident in the knowledge that they're in a place that they will have wanted when they were sat on the starting blocks 2,000 metres away thinking about their race strategy for this repechage. Last few strokes, Fedra van der Molen is going to take the win here. She's holding just a length up on Georgia Nesbitt of Australia. And she crosses the line. That's a full length up on the Aussie. And then in third place, we have Eline Roll for Switzerland. So they go through to the AB semi. Crossing the line then in fourth place, we have Khadija Krimi for Tunisia, ahead of Anna Forsberg of Finland. We'll see both of those progress through to the C final. Next up then, we've got the repechage for the lightweight men's single. We've got Yasui Haruya for Japan in lane 1, Kasper Hirvelampi for Finland in 2, Daniel Gutierrez Garcia for Spain in lane 3, Pedro Jose Kirk-Dixon for Argentina in 4, Lukas Savicki for Poland in 5, and Daniel Dubitsky for Israel in lane 6. They're coming up through 800 metres, and it's looking relatively tight at the front between the Spaniard, the Argentinian, and the Polish athlete. They've got perhaps a length margin for them to progress through to the AB semi, but anything can happen in these singles races, Camilla.
Exactly, as we've seen so far this morning, it's never over until it's over, especially in these small boats. They're so hard to master, even in these beautiful conditions that we do have. So it's important to race every single stroke to the best of your ability. And that's exactly what this field are going to have to do here, because the places are by no means set yet. Out in front, well, a small look to his left there, Daniel Gutierrez Garcia, the sculler from Spain, leads the way, but he's going to have to keep a close eye on the level pegging race that goes on just to his left in lanes 4 and 5 between Argentina's Pedro Jose Kirk-Dixon and Łukasz Savicki of Poland. They are hot on his heels. Top 3 to progress through to the AB semi-finals. Clear water between the leading pack and the trailing scullers. So if it continues to open up, we might see these scullers trying to conserve some energy.
Ja, wir sind bereits im zweiten Hoffnungslauf der Leichtgewichtsmänner einer und es führen im Dreierpack sozusagen der Athlet aus Spanien, der Pone Lukas Savicki und der Argentinier Pedro Dixon. In den Vorläufen werden die Bahnen ausgelost, wie ihr alle wisst, aber ab den Hoffnungsläufen haben sie jetzt zum ersten Mal auch am Rotsee die Möglichkeit, ihre Bahn zu wählen, die sogenannte Athlete Lane Selection. Und dieses System hat sich der Pole hier zunutze gemacht. Er durfte als erster wählen und hat sich für Bahn 5 entschieden. Das wäre natürlich interessant herauszufinden, wieso er zu dieser Wahl gekommen ist, da wir ja da in der Ruderwelt bekanntlich die Bahnen auf dem Rotsee alle fair sind und alle gleich schnell.
Well, I just picked up that my colleague Timon was talking about the athlete lane selection that took place before this afternoon's set of racing, and we've got the scullers who have picked their lanes here, and it seems to be that the scullers in the middle of the lake still performing well, Tim.
Yeah, it's especially the Daniel Gutierrez Garcia from Spain. He's really taken the initiative and he's striding out every single stroke. He has the highest boat speed by far, only matched by Dixon from Argentina, who is in second position, but feeling the pressure there from Łukasz Savicki in third. And it's the Polish sculler actually who has the initiative, but he's underrating the Argentinian by quite a bit, 33 strokes a minute from the Polish sculler, whereas the Argentinian is already up at 39 strokes. So I think Savicki has some gears to go to come the line, and he will have to make a move because the charge is unfolding behind them and coming from the sculler from Finland in lane number 2. That's Hirvilapi from Finland there in 4th position. But 3 crews to the AB semi-final, and the rest will have to contend the C final.
They're into the red boys now, and Gutierrez Garcia is a great race from him, coached by Carles Grabulosa Aguilera, ticking it over at 34. I mean, the Argentinian alongside him is at 41, so really trying to pick up the pace. I think they sense the inbound Casper Hirvelampi, who's over in lane 2 on the near side, the grandstand side of the course, trying to get into the action. But it's a little bit of a margin to close in on Argentina and Poland, currently level for 2nd and 3rd. That's Savitsky and Dixon.
Ja, Daniel Gutierrez Garcia hat noch etwa 150 Meter zurückzulegen und dann wird er dieser Hoffnungslauf im Leichtgewichtsmännerreiner gewinnen. Er muss nun nicht mehr ganz an seine Grenzen gehen, hat seine Schlagzahl auf 29 reduziert und kann so natürlich etwas Energie sparen für den morgigen Tag mit Halbfinale und Finale. Dahinter dann Polen und Argentinien, welche sich ebenfalls über die Ziellinie in diesem Moment schieben.
Spain takes the win. That's Gutierrez Garcia leading the way into the AB semi alongside Savitsky and Dixon. They're 2nd and 3rd. 4th place finisher then, Hirvelampi, will lead the way into the C final and be joined by Daniel Dubitsky of Israel and Yasui Haruya of Japan, finishing in 5th and 6th. Next up, it's the first of the 2 repercharges for the women's single sculls. We've got Siri Eva Christensen for Norway in lane 1, Virginia Diaz-Rivas of Spain in 2, Wang Zhifeng for China in 3, Emma Lunati for France in 4, Audrey Futri also for France, France 2 in lane 5, and Yonikawa Shiho for Japan in lane 6. They're just passing Camilla at halfway. It looks as though Lunati's out in front.
Absolutely correct, Pete. Lunati for France out in front and controlling the race really well. She's set into a sort of metronome-like rhythm and not sort of straying from that at all. She's at 32 strokes a minute, which looks very relaxed compared to the rest of the scullers we've seen powering down this track. 2nd and 3rd currently up for grabs still between China, who are sort of pressing hard, and Spain as well. Virginia Diaz-Rivas still trying to cling on to 2nd place ahead of China, and with those 3 spots through to the AB semi-final, I'm not sure whether the chase is on here for France or Japan.
Emma Lunati, die französische Athletin, die Frankreich an den Olympischen Spielen in Tokio im Doppelvierer vertreten hat. Sie führt diesen ersten Hoffnungslauf der Frauen-Einer an. Sie wird verfolgt von den beiden aus Spanien und China. Also diese 3 Boote, so scheint es, sind auf dem Weg, sich für das Halbfinale zu qualifizieren. Etwas abgeschlagen zurück die Athletin aus Norwegen und Japan.
Well, Lunati out of the women's quad, now into the single, looking to demonstrate her class in the small boat, and currently leading out ahead of China and Spain, Tim.
Yeah, it's that is indeed, and it's unchanged so far. We can see Lunati from France still trucking along 32 strokes a minute. A nice long rhythm from the French athlete there. She's leading from Spain's Diaz-Rivas, who is in 2nd position, and a bit of a surprise there to see Wang Zhifeng from China in 3rd, but I think the Chinese athlete knows the progression system by heart, because 1, 2 and 3 go to the AB semi-final, and those 3 crews are well ahead of Christiansen from Norway in 4th position. So I think those 3 crews are relatively safe at the moment as they come towards the Red Buoy area. We still have 350 meters left to row, but out in front it's the first crew from France, Lunati, followed by Diaz-Rivas from Spain, and then it's China 2, Wang Zhifeng.
Coming to the closing stages, though, Lunati looking so good out in the lead, leading all the way from the start, holding out ahead of the Spanish athlete Diaz-Rivas, a strong sculler from Spain, currently in second place, but under a lot of pressure from Wang Zifeng, who's currently holding on to that third position. And then the Norwegian Christensen. I don't see these positions changing. We'll see whether they put in any significant sprint as they enter the Red Boys.
Ja, es sieht so aus, dass Frankreich, China und Spanien sich für das Halbfinale qualifizieren werden. Die Spanierin im letzten Jahr noch im Zweierone unterwegs, hat den Rotsee, den Weltcup hier auf dem Rotsee gewonnen im Zweierone, dann an den Olympischen Spielen ebenfalls im Zweierone unterwegs und jetzt neu im Einer. Sie fährt hier einem zweiten Platz entgegen, hinter der Französin Emma Lunati, welche beim letzten Weltcup noch im Doppelvier unterwegs war.
Well, it's domination by Emma Lunati for France. She's certain for the win here. And then pretty close between Diaz Rivas and Wang for Spain and China. They're looking safe for second and third. This is Lunati crossing the line, winning the first repechage for the women's single sculls. She does so 2.5 lengths up on Diaz Rivas of Spain, who's got a canvas on Wang Zifeng for China. So those three go through to the AB semi. Fourth place finisher Siri Eva Christensen for Norway will lead the way into the C final, where she will be joined by Audrey Fautery for France. Well, we'll find out who's going to take the remaining 3 places in those AB semi-finals. The second rep for the women's singles is approaching halfway. We've got Kirsten Gudger for New Zealand in lane 1, Victoria Senkute for Lithuania in lane 2, Beatriz Cunha Tavares Cardoso for Brazil in lane 3, Jovana Arsic for Serbia in 4, Georgie Gleeson for Australia in lane 5, and Salome Ulrich for Switzerland in lane 6. Jovana Arsic out in front, and then let's hear from Camilla and Timon how the race develops into this third quarter.
Thanks, Pete. Yeah, Arsic looking great out in front. The Serbian sculler was heartbroken on home water in World Cup 1, coming away without the final placing that she was after, but putting that to rights here on the Rotsee. She's got clear water, looking back at the other 5 scullers in the field with ease. But here comes Salome Ulrich from Switzerland. She is utilising the home water, the home crowd, the home feel to move herself up past Georgie Gleeson of Australia and to try and come back past Senkute of Lithuania and move herself up into second.
Sie wohnt in Ebikon, sie rudert in Luzern, sie studiert auch in Luzern und sie gibt heute mächtig Gas hier auf dem Rotsee. Auf den zweiten 500 Metern hat Salome Ulrich sich auf den 3. Platz vorgeschoben und ist nun auf einem der 3 für das Halbfinale relevanten Plätze. Das ist eine erfreuliche Nachricht hier aus Schweizer Sicht. Vorne führt die Serbin Jovana Arsic, sie wird verfolgt von Victoria Senkute. Das waren auch auf dem Papier die 2 Favoritinnen, aber Salome Ulrich nach wie vor auf auf dem guten 3. Rang und ja, wir sind gespannt, wie es weitergeht.
Well, Jovana Arsic with a lead that anyone would be grateful for, but great news for the Swiss fans that Salome Ulrich is hot on her heels, Tim.
Yeah, she is, and she's actually closing up a little in the third 500 to Jovana Arsic from Serbia, who is comfortably out in front and in the lead, but the sculler from the Serbian sculler doesn't have the highest boat speed at this stage of the race. That honor goes to Lithuania and Switzerland. They are trying to claw back some of the deficit, but I think that Jovana Arsic has some gear to go to. She looks really powerful, long strokes coming from her single scull, and she has almost 2 lengths advantage over the Senkute from Lithuania and the local home favorite Salome Ulrich from Switzerland, who is in 3rd position, followed by a very close pack from New Zealand, Brazil and Australia for the minor places in this repechage. But out in front, it's still Jovana Arsic from Serbia leading this field, followed by Lithuania and local favorite Salome Ulrich.
Local favourite indeed is looking pretty good for these leading 3. The margin back to the currently level Gudger, Cunha, Tavares, Cardoso and Gleeson is several lengths. So it's a pretty safe margin that these leading 3 athletes have to look back on and respond to any late charges that they see. All of these athletes ticking it over in the low 30s, between 31 and 33. So nobody really winding it up for the finish just yet.
Ja, Salome Ulrich hat sich eigentlich den Weltcup etwas anders vorgestellt. Sie war im Doppelvierer gemeldet, zusammen mit Walker, Lötscher und Dupré. Schlussendlich ganz kurzfristig wurde die Doppelvierer abgemeldet. Sie musste in den Einer sitzen und wird sich wahrscheinlich hier für das Halbfinale qualifizieren. Ganz vorne Serbien mit Jovanna Arsic, dahinter Litauen und die Schweizerin Salome Ulrich sind praktisch auf gleicher Höhe. Der Endspurt muss entscheiden, wer hier der zweite und dritte Platz einnimmt, aber ganz klar, diese 3 Boote werden sich für das Halbfinale qualifizieren.
Into the last 100 meters now, and Serbia's Jovanna Arsic is still clinging on to a great lead here, ahead of the level Senkuta and Ulrich. I think these 3 looking very, very happy and comfortable to go through to the AB semi-final. Not much of a discernible sprint to the finish here. They're all at 33 strokes a minute. Every single one of these scullers sculling their way in at 33. But last couple of strokes, Jovanna Arsic is going to take the win, and we see Salome Ulrich move up and take second place, half a length ahead of Victoria Senkuta for Lithuania. So those 3 go through to the AB semi. 4th place is Georgie Gleeson. Is Cunha Tavares Cardoso of Brazil ahead of Gudja from New Zealand, and then 6th place Gleeson for Australia. We'll see them again in the C final. The first of the 4 quarterfinals for the men's single sculls is already approaching halfway. We've got Scott Bearlocker for Switzerland in lane 1, Danny Fridman for Israel in 2, Graham Thomas for Great Britain in lane 3, Trevor Jones for Canada in 4, Hugo Boucheron for France in 5, and Mbudzeni Masuta for South Africa in lane 6. So let's jump straight into the action. How's it looking, Camilla?
Oh, looking good for Trevor Jones, the Canadian superstar that burst onto the scene from under-23s. He was a gold medalist in the single as an under-23, and now punching up with the heavyweights of the open men's single sculls, and currently leading Graham Thomas, the best that British has to offer, the winner of the GB trials, and he's currently having to chase the young Canadian Trevor Jones. He's up at 38 strokes a minute, a huge rating. We've seen him up in the 40s before, Jones. This certainly is normal for him. Just trailing there, it's Hugo Boucheron of France, but these top 3 to go through to the AB semi-finals at this quarter-final stage of the men's single sculls.
Ja, damit Scott Bearlocker, der hier am Start ist in diesem ersten Viertelfinale des Männers eines, sich ebenfalls für das Halbfinale qualifizieren kann, so wie Salome Ulrich im letzten Rennen, muss er kein kleinerer Athlet als Hugo Boucheron, den Olympiasieger, schlagen. Der ist nämlich derzeit vor ihm auf dem 3. Platz, und dieser 3. Platz, der ist gefragt, mindestens gefragt, um ins Halbfinale zu kommen. Vorneweg Trevor Jones aus Kanada und Graham Thomas. Die beiden scheinen den Sieg unter sich auszumachen.
Well, Graham Thomas from Great Britain has decided enough is enough with the young Canadian, and chosen this moment to go, and he's pulled up alongside him, Tim.
Yeah, that level with 550 meters to go. Great to see Graham Thomas from GB taking the initiative out of the hands of the young sculler from Canada, who is still up rating quite high, although I think not as high as he was when they passed 1,000. But those 2 crews well ahead of the rest of the field, and behind them it's very tight between local favorite Scott Bearlocker from Switzerland, who is still in the mix, and he has a big job to do. He has to beat 2 scullers. He has to beat David Freeman from Israel, but also the Olympic champion Hugo Boucheron from France for that last spot into the AB semi-final. So it's going to be a very exciting finish. As they come towards you, Peter, in the finish, does the local favourite have what it takes to get that spot into the AB semi-final?
Pressure is on, isn't it? There's half a length separating them coming to the last couple of 100 metres here for the Swiss athlete Bearlocker to have a chance to get into the AB semi-final. It's going to be absolutely everything to this last 200 metres. The kitchen sink's going to have to go out the window as well if he wants to get into that AB semi. But Graham Thomas looking good out in front. Trevor Jones with him for the 1-2. But there's 3 athletes all within a length of each other for that 3rd place.
200 Meter vor dem Ziel sieht es so aus, dass der Sieg in diesem Viertelfinale nach Großbritannien geht zu Graham Thomas. Dahinter dann Trevor Jones von Kanada. Der 3. Platz dort ist noch etwas unklar zwischen Hugo Boucheron und Scott Berlocher, Dani Friedmann, alle drei diese Athleten kämpfen um den dritten Platz. Es sieht aber so aus, dass Hugo Bouchard nun eine Vorentscheidung herbeiführen konnte. Er hat etwa eine knappe Länge Vorsprung mittlerweile auf die beiden Verfolger aus der Schweiz und Israel.
Well, into the last couple of strokes now. Graham Thomas looking good for the win. Trevor Jones with him half a length down. That's the 1-2. And then we look for the third place across the line. It's going to be Hugo Boucheron for France, holding on to that third place and position through to the AB semi. Fourth then is, in fact, Danny Friedman for Israel, ahead of Scott Berlocher for Switzerland in fifth. And coming in for sixth place, we have Mbudzeni Masuta for South Africa. So we'll see them in their various C or D final positions. Fourth place was Danny Friedman, so he'll go through to the C final, and then the remaining positions either to the C or D final. Going through 800 metres now is the second of the four quarterfinals for the men's singles. We've got Ogive for China in lane 1, Callum Dixon for Great Britain in 2, Baksky Mate for Hungary in lane 3, Mathieu Androdias for France in lane 4, Victor Pivac for Serbia in 5, and Damir Martin for Croatia in lane 6. Androdias out in front, but Camilla, surprising to see Damir Martin in a bit of a danger zone here.
Yeah, Damir Martin will really need to start to think about what he's going to do in this second half of the race, because he finds himself right out the back of the field. He's being led out here by Mathieu Androdias in the lead, the Olympic champion from the men's double sculls. It's then the Hungarian Baksky Mate in second place, and Callum Dixon, the young British sculler, looking to secure himself a semi-final place as well. But Damir Martin has seen the danger. He's looked across the lake, and he's raised the rating now. He's at 34 strokes a minute and pushing himself down from fourth into third.
La deuxième moitié du double français qui a gagné aux Jeux Olympiques à Tokyo. Mathieu Androdias qui mène cette deuxième manche en skiff homme quart de finale. Il mène devant le rameur de l'Hongrie, Mate Baksky, devant Callum Dixon. Aber Damir Martin, der Kroate, der will hier sicherlich noch ein Wörtchen mitreden, und gerade in diesem Moment versucht er, an den derzeit drittplatzierten Brite ranzukommen und sich diesen für das Halbfinale relevanten Platz noch zu erkämpfen.
Well, that push from Damir Martin to try and put himself in a qualifying position for the AB semi-finals has been thwarted off by Callum Dixon of Great Britain, who still holds third place behind the Hungarian Baksky Mate and behind the absolutely formidable Mathieu Androdias, Tim.
Yeah, it's the Olympic champion way out in front and looking in full control of this race. He's several lengths up on the rest of the field, and I think from where I'm sitting, it's very tight between them and the Hungarian sculler Baksky from Hungary. He is in second position, but only just because Callum Dixon is trying to make a move and get into second position. Those two athletes going absolutely stroke for stroke all the way down the line. And here he is, Damir Martin, the Olympic silver and bronze medalist. He took a big look to his right to see where his target is, and that target is, I think, Callum Dixon, who is still in third position. I think there's going to be a massive sprint from the Croatian sculler in lane 6, but he has more than 10 meters to make up at the currently to take that last spot into the AB semi-final. So I'll hand it to you, Peter. What's Damir Martin up to? Is he already sprinting, or is he still waiting?
Well, he's still at 36, but we've seen him do more with less. So we could well see him leap into action now. He's still got over a length to make up if he wants to contest with Callum Dixon and Baksky Mate for second and third place. Androdias just running away with this race now, though. He's got over a length, which means he's got clear water margin out at the front of the field. All eyes on Damir Martin, still at 36 as he comes into the Red Boys.
Ja, es stellt sich die Frage, wird sich Damir Martin hier noch qualifizieren in Extremis? Man kann es bezweifeln, es sind noch über eine Bootslänge, die er gut machen muss auf den letzten 150 Meter. Und er geht nun, er hat mit dem Sprint angefangen. Das wird ganz spannend. Ganz vorne aber Frankreich vor Ungarn und danach Großbritannien und Dami Martin von Kroatien.
He's going for it now. Martin goes up to 40 strokes a minute, nearly drawing level with Baksky Mate for Hungary. It's going to come down to the wire here because these three scullers trailing behind Androdias are nearly level. It's going to be on the surge of the stroke as to which two boats are going to join Androdias into that AB semi-final. It's absolutely neck and neck. It's in lane 2. Callum Dixon secures a place through behind Androdias, but it's so close. I think it was Baksky Mate or Damir Martin on the surge of the stroke. We'll just have to wait to see that be split out. Androdias first, Callum Dixon second. So they're both through to the AB semi. Final results trickling through to confirm who took that third position. It's Baksky Mate for Hungary, which means fourth place Damir Martin will go through to the C final, and then we'll have Ojiwe and Victor Pivac working it out between the C and D finals, depending on their times. Moving quickly on then, it's the third of the quarterfinals for the men's singles. We've got Yamao Keita for Japan in lane 1, Luca Rambaldi for Italy in 2, Mohamed Tayeb for Tunisia in lane 3, Petevari Molnar Bendeguj for Hungary in lane 4, Martin Helseth for Norway in 5, and Dusan Slavnic for Serbia in lane 6. They're coming up towards halfway, and again, Camilla, there's not much separating the leading three. The only one slightly in with a chance of contesting a place is the Tunisian Mohamed Tayeb.
Yeah, the Tunisian will, I'm sure, be sensing the fact that he's still within touching distance. His bow ball's just broken contact with the stern of Petevari Molnar for Hungary, who sits in third place, but only just. It's fairly level pegging here out at the front of the field between the three leading scullers. It's currently the Italian Luca Rambaldi that leads the charge and leads the way, but it's going to be another tight finish, I'm sure, as we've just seen in the previous race. Never right off the small boats.
Ja, wiederum ein spannendes Viertelfinale hier im Männer-Einer. Es führt der Italiener Luca Rambaldi. Er konnte sich etwas absetzen vor seinen engsten Verfolgern. Das sind nämlich Martin Helseth aus Norwegen, der hier in Luzern bereits Rennen gefahren ist auf dem Vierwaldstättersee beim X-Row. Er wird gefolgt oder verfolgt oder gejagt sogar von Bendegus Petevari Molnar, der derzeit auf der dritten Position ist. Und dahinter ist es der Tunesier, der vielleicht nochmal die Möglichkeit hat ranzukommen, aber es wird sehr schwierig. Da muss er jetzt wirklich aufdrehen und sein Boot beschleunigen. Aber in den Kleinbooten, da ist vieles möglich. Das haben wir heute schon oft genug gesehen.
Well, a big gust of speed here from the Norwegian Martin Helseth. He's had to go up to 37 strokes a minute to achieve this, though, and to pull himself level with Petevari Molnar Bendeguj of Hungary, who's down at 32 strokes a minute. Still plenty of room for him to open up a sprint here, Tim.
Yeah, and I think the sprint is going to be much needed come the line, because I can see the sculler from Tunisia, Tayeb, he's coming back into it, and he's trying to draw himself level with the scullers from Norway and Hungary for that all-important third and last spot into the AB semi-final. It's just over a length at the 1500, with Rambaldi from Italy leading comfortably with several lengths ahead of the two scullers from Norway and Hungary, with Serbian sculler Slavnik in fifth, and on the far side we can see the Japanese sculler Yamao in sixth. But the race out in front is going to be very tight between Tunisia, Hungary and Norway, Peter.
Yeah, the question is, will we see a turn of pace from Mohamed Tayeb like we saw from Damir Martin, making the previous quarterfinals so close in the last 100 metres? Anything can happen. Tayeb goes up to 39 now, trying to put in a solid finishing sprint here, but we can see Helseth and Petevari Molnar already up at 40, so the pace is going to come down to this last 250 metres and what they can do here.
Ähnlich wie Mathieu Androdias im vorhergehenden Viertelfinale zeigt auch hier Luca Rambaldi eine dominante Leistung. Er führt dieses Halbfinale an, mittlerweile noch immer mit einer Länge Vorsprung vor seinen Verfolgern von Ungarn und Norwegen. Luca Rambaldi in den letzten 11 Jahren meistens im Doppel-2 oder Doppel-4 unterwegs, jetzt wieder einmal im Einer unterwegs und wird sich voraussichtlich zusammen mit Ungarn und Norwegen für das Halbfinale qualifizieren.
Last 100 metres now, Luca Rambaldi for Italy at 35 strokes a minute, looking good for the win in this third quarter-final of the men's singles, holding just under a length up on Petteri Molnar Bendeguj of Hungary. This is them crossing the line, so the Italian Rambaldi takes the win. Petteri Molnar second, and then third place we've got Martin Helseth for Norway. They go through to the AB semi. Mohamed Tayeb will go through to the C final, crossing the line for fourth place. And then over on the far side, we've got Dusan Slavnic for Serbia, who will go through to either the C or the D final, depending on his time. And crossing the line here, Yamao Keita for Japan in sixth place will race the D final. Time now for the fourth and last quarter-final for the men's single sculls. We've got Simon Keenan for Australia in lane 1, Jordi Jofre Senkiales for Spain in 2, Mark Webber for Germany in 3, Kristen Vasiljev for Bulgaria in lane 4, Mindaugas Griškonis for Lithuania in lane 5, and Yanis Romanovski for Germany in lane 6. Vasiljev out in front, the big Bulgarian really setting the water alight here, pushing for the lead by a length already ahead of the Spaniard as they approach halfway.
Yeah, Vasiljev always uses great length and strength to be able to overhaul his opposition, and exactly what he's done in the first 50% of this race as he sits out in front. But Jofre Sensiales has been a really gutsy sculler. He's had some great results over the last few regattas, and he sits in second place, which would be enough to get him through to the AB semi-final. He's a length up on the German sculler, Mark Webber, who's found himself in the single scull unexpectedly, but doing a great job to hold off the challenge coming from the other German sculler, Yanis Romanovski.
Ja, es führt der Bulgare Christoph Vasiljev, der mit langen, kraftvollen Schlägen sich hier nach vorne propulsiert. Er wird verfolgt von dem spanischen Athleten Jordi Jofre Sensiales. Und dahinter ist es Mark Webber, der deutsche Ruderer. Er allerdings kann sich nicht allzu sicher fühlen auf seinem dritten für das Halbfinale qualifizierenden Rang, denn er wird verfolgt von seinem Verbandskollegen Yanis Romanovski. Und etwas überraschend, ganz am Ende des Feldes ist es Mindaugas Griškonis, der hier nicht ganz die Pace mithalten kann. Überraschend deswegen, weil es doch ein sehr erfahrener und üblicherweise auch schneller Athlet ist. Ob er hier nochmal aufdrehen kann und sich nach vorne schieben kann, das werden die letzten 700 Meter zeigen.
Well, it's certainly loud here on the banks, booming voices coming from the boat park area. And I wonder whether that's to try and get Griškonis of Lithuania to do something, because he's right out at the back of the field. His performance so variable, up and down like a roller coaster. And it just seems like today's not his day, Tim.
No, unfortunately for him, it's not his day. It's a quick race, though. Out in front, it's still the powerful athlete from Bulgaria, Vasiljev, who is leading by almost 2.5 lengths over Jofre Sensiales from Spain, who is having a great race with Mark Webber from Germany in the middle of the course there. They're battling it out for second and third, with the other German athlete here in the race, Romanovski, in fourth. But no, you can see there, I think this is as much as we're going to see from Griškonis from Lithuania. He's taking the rate down. He's at 29 strokes a minute. So I don't think we're going to see him sprinting towards the line. But out in front, it's still a very good race there from Christian Vasiljev from Bulgaria, leading Mark Webber and Jofre Sensiales from Spain.
Yeah, talking about Griškonis, at this position, he'll go through to the D final, which would be a surprise for the athlete who we've often seen topping the front of the field in A finals. So we look back at the front of the field here now, though, and we could well see a bit of a sprint from Janis Romanovsky of Germany, he's coached by Heino Seidler. Obviously, this weekend we were expecting to see Olli Seidler in one of the German singles, but Heino Seidler, Olli's dad, is the coach of Janis Romanovsky, who's currently riding in that dangerous 4th position here if he wants to get into the AB semi. We could see a solid sprint. He's still ticking it over at 34 strokes a minute as the others ratchet it up nearer 40.
150 Meter vor dem Ziel sieht es so aus, dass Christian Vasilev dieser Viertelfinal im Männer-Einer gewinnen wird vor entweder Spanien oder Deutschland mit Mark Webber. Also Deutschland wird vertreten sein im Halbfinale. Der zweite Deutsche, Janis Romanovsky, wird allerdings nicht dabei sein in diesem Halbfinale.
Well, across the line is Vasilev, and then we've got Mark Webber just a bow ball ahead of the Spanish athlete Jofre Senquiales. That's the 1-2-3. They had a really solid sprint there, just looking at each other towards the line. But they'll all progress through to the AB semi. Over on the far side, we've got Janis Romanovsky, who will go through to the C final, finishing in 4th. And then we'll find out between Simon Keenan and Mindaugas Griškonis whether they're going through to the C or D final. Griškonis to the D final. Moving back into repercharges now, then we've got the first of the 2 repercharges for the lightweight women's double sculls. We've got Spain in lane 1, Rocio Lau Sanchez and Ana Navarro. Netherlands in lane 2, Kika Banning and Ariane Putz. Canada in lane 3, Carissa Riley and Jill Moffat. Brazil in 4, Isabel Falk Camargos and Antonia Emmanuel Aubry Mota. And then Japan 2 in lane 5, Kinota Sahoko and Onishi Kaho. Canada looking pretty comfortable out in front, but it's the first 3 to go through, and you can't split places 3, 4 and 5 between the Netherlands, Brazil and Japan 2.
Yeah, Pete, we're going to have to get a closer look once they come past us here at the 1,000-metre marker. They're about 5 or 6 strokes out, but there's no doubt as to the leading crew here. It's the Western University combination of Jill Moffat and Carissa Riley. They've got almost the length of clear water over the Spanish duo of Lau Sanchez and Navarro. But, yeah, barely anything splitting Japan and the Dutch, and also coming through the middle, Brazil, for that 3rd and final spot through to the ABC semi-final. I think the pace currently riding with Japan of Onishi and Kinota of Japan, but they are going to have to work extremely hard in the second part of this course to stay that way.
Hoffnungslauf im Leichtgewichtsfrauen-Doppel war bekanntlich immer eine sehr enge Angelegenheit, und hier kurz nach Streckenhälfte führt das kanadische Boot Carissa Riley und Jill Moffat. Sie führen mit ca. 2 Längen Vorsprung auf die spanische Kombination. Dahinter aber ist es sehr, sehr eng um den 3. Platz, und dieser 3. Platz, der ist sehr entscheidend. Der ist nämlich wichtig für die Qualifikation für das Halbfinale. Kurz nach Streckenhälfte waren es die Japanerinnen, die als erstes zu einem kurzen Zwischenspurt angesetzt haben. Ob sie sich durchsetzen können und von den beiden Verfolgerinnen aus Holland und Brasilien absetzen können, das erfahren wir über die nächsten 90 bis 120 Sekunden.
Canada and Spain have put in the work to be able to sit back and look at the rest of the field, but that is not going to feel that way in the Japanese boat or the Dutch boat, Tim.
No, the real race is for 3rd position, and that's between Japan and the Netherlands, with the 2 crews from Canada and Spain way out in front, almost clear water for the Spanish crew to the crew from Japan, who are having a great tussle with the new combination of Kika Banning and Ariane Putz from the Netherlands. And I think the Dutch have just taken the initiative here in the 3rd 500, moving away from the Japanese double with half a length ahead of Japan, crossing the 500 meters to go mark. But out in front, it's that Canadian double. They're very dominant in this first repechage, followed by Spain, and then it's the Netherlands still, but we have some sprinting left to do, and there's almost 400 meters left to race. So we'll see if the Dutch can keep this up and secure that spot into the AB semi-final. But Pete, you perhaps you're a betting man, and you can perhaps tell us where your money's on.
It's a good question, but I wouldn't be betting the house on anything in this race, particularly not when it comes down to the small boats, because we've seen it chopping and changing so much through the course of today already, particularly as their sprints start to wind in. Looking good, though, for Riley and Moffat of Canada out in front, still holding over a length up on Spain coming into the closing stages, but the Netherlands banning and puts under so much pressure now as Japan start to find the wheels here. Kinota and Oishi up over 36. They've got good boat speed and they're starting to draw up on the Netherlands.
Ja, wenn man wetten muss, dann muss man im Moment auf die Kanadierinnen setzen. Die werden diesen Hoffnungslauf im Frauenleichtgewichtsdoppelzweier für sich entscheiden. Dahinter dann die Spanierinnen ebenfalls relativ klar eine Länge vor den Holländerinnen, sogar etwas mehr. Dahinter aber noch ein Kampf um den dritten Platz. Holland momentan etwa eine Länge vor Japan. Japan versucht natürlich hier nochmals ranzukommen, aber ich glaube, es ist zu spät. Sie haben zwar die Schlagzahl auf 38 erhöht, aber kommen wohl nicht mehr rechtzeitig.
Positions looking fixed here as we see taking the win. Canada half a length ahead of Spain, and then nearly 2 lengths down we have the Netherlands. So that's the 1, 2, 3 going through to the AB semi-final. 4th place, just a length behind, we have Japan. They'll go through to the C final and be joined by Brazil coming in for 5th place. Next up, we've got the second of the 2 repercharges for the lightweight women's doubles. We've got Japan 1 in lane 1, Tomita Chiaki and Hiruchi Emi. New Zealand in lane 2, Rachel Kennedy and Jackie Kittle. Germany in lane 3, Marion and Joanna Reichardt. Norway in lane 4, Oda Egerson and Maya Emil Lund. And then Mexico in lane 5, Samantha Del Rosario Ojeda Nunez and Melissa Marquez. 900 metres in, the Kiwis looking good here. Rachel Kennedy and Jackie Kittle out in front, but barely by a canvas ahead of Germany, Camilla.
Yeah, and it's lightweight racing for you in this lightweight women's double sculls. It's always going to be tight. But what I must say, it's great to see a competitive New Zealand lightweight women's double back out on the water. The former world champion Jackie Kittle in the stroke seats, back from Linz in 2019, has found a new partner now in Rachel Kennedy to race with. So awesome to see them back out on the water. But they are being hunted down furiously by the Reichardt twins from Germany. There's a really sharp finish on them. They finish it very decisively around the back turn, and they're spinning their hands up to get the rating right up to 38 strokes a minute. Those are your 2 leading crews, and then nothing much to split the rest of the field. In fact, I think Mexico perhaps just trying to close down Japan at this point in time, but it's not really much to choose for that 3rd and final crew to the AB semi-final.
Neuseeländerin, immer ein großer Name im Leichtgewichtsdoppelzweier bei den Frauen, und sie führen hier diesen Hoffnungslauf an, oder sie führten noch bei 1000 Meter, so muss ich es sagen, denn die beiden Zwillingsschwestern Marion und Johanna Reichardt aus Deutschland, sie haben hier mit einem mächtigen Zwischensprung, und das waren wirklich kräftige Endzüge, die wir hier gesehen haben, haben sie sich an den Neuseeländerinnen vorbeigeschoben, und diese beiden Mannschaften sind jetzt wirklich Bugball an Bugball mit ganz leichten Vorteilen vielleicht für das deutsche Boot, aber es ist wirklich sehr, sehr eng. Dahinter sind es die Japanerinnen, die sich versuchen zu wehren gegen die Angriffe aus Norwegen mittlerweile. Aber auch da ist noch nichts entschieden. Da geht es nämlich um den 3. Platz, und der ist sehr relevant für die Qualifikation ins Halbfinale. Es bleibt spannend. Wie geht es an der Spitze weiter, Camilla?
That little focus of spinning the hands away from Germany as they came past us at halfway has done wonders, but they're up running level now with New Zealand, Tim.
Yeah, and I wonder if they can keep this up, this German double of the Reichardt twins. They're really powerful. They're really sending it at the back end of the stroke, and so far they're dead level with New Zealand, so that's a great race from them. Those 2 crews way out in front, a full length of clear water over the crew from Japan, but here you see the crew from Norway making its way all the way up to 3rd position. There's precious little battle between Norway and Japan, and I think Norway already up at 40 strokes a minute, but the Japanese racing in lane number 1 are as well at 39 strokes a minute, so that's going to be a great battle all the way down the line. But I think the crew from New Zealand now making their mark here in the final part of this race and trying to move away from that young German combination. But the real battle, Peter, will be out for third place. Will it be Japan or will it be Norway?
Yeah, Norway starting to really move up now. They're 5th through the 500, 5th through the 1,000, and now level with Japan coming into the last 250. Pressure's on at the front as well. Then we've got the Reichardt twins trying to move up through New Zealand. They've gone up to 38. The Kiwis still at 35. So we've got a race of two parts here. We've got a race for the win, and then we've got a race for a place in the AB Semi, still developing between Japan and Norway.
Peter hat es richtig gesagt, es gibt zwei Rennen in diesem Rennen. Ein Rennen um den Sieg zwischen Deutschland und Neuseeland und ein Rennen um den halbfinalberechtigten dritten Rang zwischen Japan und Norwegen. Momentan etwas die besseren Karten für Norwegen, aber die Boote sind praktisch gleich auf. Beide mit Schlagzahl 41, 42 stürmen sie hier Richtung Ziel. Vorne Neuseeland, welche sich nur etwas lösen konnten von Deutschland.
Last few strokes then, it's going to be New Zealand for the win, still holding a length up on Germany, but here comes the charging Japan and Norway. Absolutely nothing to separate them. So it's New Zealand across the line first, and then, it's tight. It's Germany and Norway, I think just ahead of Japan for 4th, and then coming in for 5th place, Mexico over on the far side. So we'll have to wait for the official results to split that. New Zealand in 7 minutes, 0 seconds, 0.11, and in a moment I'm sure we'll see the results confirmed for 2nd and 3rd and those two coveted places into the AB semi-final. Places 4 and 5, of course, going through to the C final. Germany now confirmed as 2nd, and it is Norway who take the 3rd place through. So we'll see Japan and Mexico in the C final. Now we've got the first of the two repercharges for the lightweight men's doubles. Estonia in lane 1, Ander Koppel and Elar Loth. Spain in lane 2, Menel Belastegui and Caetano Horzapombo. Czech Republic in lane 3, Yuri Simnik and Miroslav Rastil. New Zealand in 4, that's Matt Dunham and Christopher Stockley. And then completing the field for Germany in lane 5, Paul Leerkamp and Arno Gauss. Now they're passing through halfway, Czech Republic in the lead.
Yeah, this Czech combination of Simonek and Vrastil have fond memories of the Rotsey. They've always performed so well here, and they are really pulling themselves out of chaos going on behind them, because it's Dunham and Stockley just starting to stamp their authority on 2nd place, but they are in a bit of a pinch here as they sit in between Spain on one side of them, and then in lane number 5, it's the German crew who continue to chase hard, and those 3 spots through to the AB semi-final very much up for grabs.
Das tschechische Boot jetzt im Männerleichtgewichtsdoppelzweier führt diesen ersten Vorlauf an und sie führen vor den Neuseeländern. Dahinter ist es sehr, sehr eng um den dritten Platz zwischen den spanischen Zweier und dem deutschen Boot, während Jason Osborne heute nicht anwesend ist. Wahrscheinlich ist er am Fahrradfahren. Sind es Paul Leerkamp und Arno Gauss, die in die Bresche springen. Sie versuchen sich hier zu qualifizieren und den dritten Platz zu erkämpfen. Aber da gibt es noch ein bisschen Arbeit.
As they power on towards the finish line. An interview of you, Tim. It's a big margin actually in lightweight rowing, more than a length for the Czech Republic.
Yeah, it's a healthy margin, I'd say, for Vrastil and Simonek from the Czech Republic. But they are motoring at 38 strokes a minute, and boy, does it look powerful every single stroke. It's clear water over Spain, then New Zealand, and then the new German combination, who are racing in the race of their lives to get into third position and get into one of those spots into the AB semi-final. But the Czech Republic then leading, and they have the highest boat speed, even though they're in the lead and they don't have to. But there will be a big charge coming from Spain and New Zealand, with Germany having the work to do to get into that AB semi-final directly.
They've got the work to do, and there's quite a lot to do. They're coming to the last 250 metres here, and it's only a canvas separating, or a bit more than a canvas, maybe a quarter of a length separating Spain, New Zealand and Germany, all trailing a length and a half behind the currently leading Czech Republic boat. So the rate's starting to go up. We can see the Kiwis now up over 40, trying to push through Spain, and Germany trying to get back in the action. They're at 37 compared to Spain's 39.
Ganz vorne sind es die Tschechen, welche hier als Erste über die letzten 200 Meter fahren. Miroslav Rastil am Schlag, 39-jährig, 9-facher Ironman-Athlet, zeigt hier auch, dass er über die 2 Kilometer Strecke immer noch sehr schnell rudern kann. Dahinter dann ein Kampf um den 2. und 3. Platz zwischen Neuseeland, den Spaniern und Deutschland. Neuseeland momentan etwas mit dem höheren Bootspeed, aber wir müssen abwarten, wie es hier ausschaut.
Last few strokes, and the Czech Republic are going to take the win. They do so ahead of Spain and New Zealand. Who's going to cross the line first? It's Spain, a bow ball ahead of New Zealand. That's the 1-2-3 going through to the AB semi, and that means that Germany will just miss out and go through to the C final and be joined by Estonia. That was very close across the line, so we'll just wait for the official results to split it. Czech Republic first, Spain second, New Zealand third. They go through to the AB semi, Germany and Estonia to the C final. Next up is the penultimate race of our day. It's the second of the 2 repercharges for the lightweight men's double sculls. We've got Hungary in lane 1, that's Tamas Benche and Galambos Peter. Portugal in lane 2, Afonso and Dinis Duarte Costa. Australia in lane 3, Redmond Matthews and Hamish Harding. Belgium in 4, Marlon Colpert and Niels van Zandwege. And then Mexico in lane 5, Rafael Alejandro Mejia Gutierrez and Ricardo Daniel de la Rosa Vanegas. So they're just through 600 metres in. Portugal and Australia pretty much level at the front, but maybe half a length up on Hungary and Mexico. So they're starting to make their way towards halfway. So let's catch up with Camilla and Timon.
Thank you very much, Pete. And yeah, they're just coming into view of us here at the 1,000. They're yet to broach the 750 metre distance marker. But from what I can see, that race still very tightly fought up at the front of the field between Australia and Portugal. Hamish Harding and Redmond Matthews for Australia up at 37. Portugal, Duarte Costa, the pairing of Dinis and Afonso down at 36. And currently the boat speed sitting with the Australians, and we might start to see them pull out a little bit more distance over Portugal. But the crew I would not write off, Niels van Zandwege and Marlon Colpert, who are still very much in the mix, half a length down in this top 3 and starting to move.
Ja, und wir nähern uns der 1000-Meter-Marke in diesem zweiten Hoffnungslauf, und es sind eigentlich 3 Boote mittlerweile auf einer Linie, nämlich die Boote aus Australien, aus Portugal und aus Belgien mit leichten Vorteilen für die beiden letztgenannten Mannschaften. Sie also alle diese 3 Crews auf dem Weg ins Halbfinale, denn dahinter ist es doch schon ein beträchtlicher Rückstand für die beiden weiteren Boote aus Ungarn und Mexiko. Da wird es sehr, sehr schwierig, nochmals ranzukommen. Aber wie wir wissen, es ist erst entschieden, wenn es entschieden ist, und auch das gilt auch in diesem Rennen. Mal sehen, ob hier noch was geht.
Well, despite the athlete lane selection, there's still a beautifully formed chevron arrowhead pointing its way towards the finish tower, towards the finish line here on the Rotsee. And it's a real move here from the Belgians, who continue to beat down on the Australians. They've moved through Portugal. They're now only a few centimetres off Australia. Can Niels van Zandwege and Marlon Colpert go one step further and move into the lead, Tim?
Oh, yeah, it's going to be close. And I think the Australian duo of Matthews and Harding are trying to fight all the way down to the line to get the first spot into the AB semi-final. But a great race from the Belgian duo. I think it's a better race than their heat this morning. They look a bit more together than they did in the first heat of the day. But we can also see there on the far side we have Portugal with Duarte Costa brothers still in the mix, 3/4 of a length back on the leading Australians, with Belgium just a canvas behind the Australians who are leading this race, and behind them it's very tight between the crews from Mexico and Hungary for fourth and fifth, but just 3 crews progressing to the AB semi-final, and I think the crew from Australia has the higher boat speed at this stage, so I fancy them to take the win. But the Belgians are definitely hot on the heels of the Australians, Peter.
Yeah, it looks as though the boats that are going to miss out here are the Hungarians and the Mexicans, because the middle 3 boats in this 5-boat lineup have a length and a bit to make up if they want to contest for one of the 3 places into the AB semi. The Aussies just look so good, clean and crisp out in front. It was a great middle 1,000 for them, moving up from 3rd to take the lead, but they're not holding it by much. It's a canvas up on the Belgians, who are now starting to really sprint it out. They've gone up to 39, 40 strokes a minute and starting to draw level with Australia.
Wir kennen vor allem Nils van Zandwegen, den belgischen Boot, einer, der mit einem unglaublich starken Endspurt. Sie fahren in diesem Augenblick an die Australier an, überholen sie sogar, also sieht nach einem Sieg für Belgien aus, vor Australien und Portugal auf dem 3. Platz.
Belgium are going to take the win. They've moved up a canvas on Australia across the line. Belgium first, a canvas ahead of Australia, who have half a length over Portugal. Those 3 progress to the AB semi. 4th place, we have Hungary, a length ahead of Mexico for 5th. They'll go through to the C final. And we're going to move promptly into the last race of our day. It's the repechage for the men's quadruple sculls. Fast approaching halfway. We've got Germany in lane 1, Great Britain in 2, Switzerland in 3, and Belgium in lane 4. Germany and Switzerland neck and neck for the lead. And for the last time today, I'm going to hand you over to our commentators at halfway, Timon Vernas and Camilla Hadland-Horrocks.
Thank you very much, Pete. And this is very much the race not to be lost. Only 3 spaces through to the AB semi-finals, and currently that mantle of having to try and chase is firmly sat with Great Britain in 4th place, as the Belgians are really trying to move away in 3rd. But great news for the home fans. Switzerland, stroked by Jan Schäuble, new into this boat for this weekend as a last-minute call-up due to illness, and he seems to be leading the other 3 guys down the track, Brunner, Schneider and Kondrau, with style, as they currently are chasing Germany almost to a standstill.
Ja, Jan Schäuble, der Schweizer Meister im Leichtgewichtseiner und im schweren Einer vom vergangenen Wochenende. Er hat sich hier mit 3 ganz starken und schweren Jungs verstärkt und ist im Doppelvierer unterwegs, und er macht dies wirklich sehr, sehr gut. Sie sind derzeit auf dem 2. Zwischenrang und jagen das führende deutsche Boot sehr nachhaltig und nachsässig. Dahinter ist es dann der Entscheidungskampf um den letzten verbleibenden Platz im Halbfinale zwischen Belgien und Großbritannien. Momentan mit Vorteilen für Belgien. Ob da noch was geht, das wird sich auf dem letzten Streckendrittel zeigen.
Well, Germany responding really well here. Julius Rommelmann in the stroke seat, Stefan Kasten in the 3 seat, just wanting to haul their boat speed back up that little bit more. They're at 38 strokes a minute and have responded well to the home boats charge, Tim.
Yeah, definitely. They are 3/4 of a length up on the crew from Switzerland. That German crew, stroked by Julius Rommelmann, the younger brother, I must say, of Johnny Rommelmann, who raced the lightweight double. But actually, this is one of those races. The last race of the day is a race not to be lost, because 1, 2, and 3 progress to the AB semi-final, and currently Great Britain are in the danger zone, Peter.
Great Britain certainly in that danger zone. They've got 20 metres to make up with 250 metres to do it if they want to get through to the AB semi. Otherwise, this will be them out of competition from this repechage. Out at the front of the field, though, Germany looking so good. Julius Rommelmann in the stroke seat takes them to 38, and they're holding just under a length ahead of Switzerland coming towards the last 200 metres here. So an impressive performance from them. And then we've got the Belgians up at 41, trying to wind it in for a fast finish.
Ja, der Schweizer Doppelvierer hatte heute Morgen noch etwas Abstimmungsschwierigkeiten am Start. Diesmal hat es aber besser geklappt. Sie waren Zweiter über die ganze Strecke und greifen jetzt sogar die führenden Deutschen an. Also, es sind nicht mehr viele Meter bis ins Ziel. Die Schweiz greift nach dem Sieg hier im Hoffnungslauf im Männer-Doppelvierer.
Here we go, Germany and Switzerland neck and neck. It's going to be on the surge of the stroke. They're bow-ball for bow-ball. Germany take it, perhaps half a metre ahead of Switzerland across the line. That's the 1-2, and then Belgium for 3 that progress through to the AB semi. And sadly, Great Britain will miss out from this repechage. We'll see Germany, Switzerland, and Belgium again in the AB semi. Well, folks, what a day it has been. The first day of racing here at the 2022 World Rowing Cup 3, Lucerne, Switzerland. Amazing stuff here on the Rotsee in Lucerne, the Lake of the Gods. 24 degrees we've had it at today, and it just shows you what we can look forward to in competition later in the weekend. Racing starts tomorrow at 9 a.m, and we run through the E, D, and then C finals until 10 o'clock. Before we get started with the remaining semi-finals and repechages from 10:15 until our lunch break at 12:45. So still a lot of racing to look forward to tomorrow before we get into the tighter end of competition, where we've got the B finals for the lightweight singles at 3:15 tomorrow afternoon, and then into the first A finals of this weekend's competition from 3:30 until just before 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So lots to look forward to tomorrow. And then, of course, on Sunday, we've got the remaining A and B finals. It's going to heat up as the weekend goes forward. Tomorrow is going to get up to around 25 degrees. Sunday, 24, 25. So much as it was today, nice and sunny. Hopefully, it remains not very windy because we've been treated to a little bit of a tailwind today. And that's been an absolute pleasure to see out here on the Rotsee. Just looking at the weather forecast for the next couple of days, it certainly looks great. But the programme is only going to hot up as the weekend goes on. So it's been a delight to have you here tuning in, not only from around the world on worldrowing.com on our live stream, but here on the side of the Rotsee. My name's Peter Hanlon. I've been joined up here in the tower by my Swiss co-commentator Michael Schmidt. And we've had Timon Vernas and Camilla Handland-Horrocks at the 1,000 metres and Tim von Vliet at 1,500, bringing you all of the latest live action from the water's edge. That's the first day done, so we're going to say goodbye for now. We look forward to seeing you bright and early before the start of racing tomorrow at 9 o'clock.
Ja, was für ein Tag hier auf dem Rotsee mit den Vorläufen und Hoffnungsläufen am Ruderweltcup 2022. Ja, das Rennen im Doppelvierer war das letzte Rennen des Tages. Die Schweiz konnte sich qualifizieren für das Halbfinale und wir freuen uns schon auf die Rennen von morgen. Es beginnt um 9 Uhr mit dem Finale E. Im Männer-Einer es geht dann weiter mit den C-Finals und D-Finals. Um 10 Uhr 15 geht es dann mit dem ersten Halbfinale, wird es dann langsam richtig warm. Leichtgewichts-Einer der Frauen steht auf dem Programm. Anschließend dann, kurz vor dem Mittagessen, die Halbfinals in den olympischen Bootsklassen und dann am Nachmittag werden die ersten Medaillen hier auf dem Rotsee vergeben an die Leichtgewichtsruderer im Einer. Am Sonntag dann die Finals, also morgen werden die Finalteilnehmerinnen und Teilnehmer bestimmt. Wir freuen uns hier, euch morgen wieder zu begrüßen auf dem Rotsee oder über den Livestream hier im Turm. Pete O'Hanlon und ich, Michael Schmid, wünschen euch allen einen schönen Abend. Tschüss zusammen.